Greetings, technology enthusiasts. I am Chandrahas and I am delighted to be here with you representing CyberBrainer. Do you not believe that the technology sector is advancing at an unprecedented rate, making this an opportune moment to acquire the skills that will facilitate your progress? With CyberBrainer, we are empowering you to take control of your own future. At CyberBrainer, we do not merely impart your interests. We assert that information is power, yet it is the application of knowledge that distinguishes you. Our courses are meant to equip you with essential skills, whether you are pursuing data science, understanding artificial intelligence, or delving into cybersecurity. Let us commence the session and seize the future today. Thank you.
Sequence generator. Sequence generator means the thing is, when you generate a file, let's say you are creating one EIP or you are creating one core connector worker or any integration. Let's say you have hard coded the file name, for example worker.txt. If you have hard coded something in this way, basically every day when the integration will run, then every day the integration will generate this worker.txt. What will happen in your system? You will be having integration events where the files are stored. In Workday, you will be able to understand on which particular day which file has been generated. Now let's say you are delivering this file to other system. Any system, there's a Concur ADP or any other system. When you are delivering files there, then every day they are receiving just same file name. They won't be able to identify the file name right, like on which date which file has been delivered and which file they have processed. Let's say in future they receive some issue and what they saying, I have sent you file on this particular, they will not be able to understand. What they generally ask us to do is they ask us to generate file in a sequence that the dynamic date will be hard coded. For example, let's say you are running integration today. You want the file to be generated in this way. Let's say 332024.txt, and the next day when the file will run, then it will be generated as 04072024.txt. Every day, whatever date on which integration is running, that date is getting hard coded and your file name is getting generated by appending that date. This will be very easy for identity to identify the file name, like which file has been executed on which particular day. To track what they has given one features sequence generator. It's not a date. You can do anything. You can simply also mention, like if you don't want a date, you want something like this, like today you have sent workday_1.txt. Tomorrow you want to send as worker_2.txt. Then after that you want to send worker_3.txt. Here what is happening? This is dynamic. This is something is not fixed every day, right? In sequence generator, you are configuring this part. Yesterday, when I was configuring the sequence generator, I mentioned the date formatting. For EIB, we have one task create when you will type create sequence generator. This create ID definition sequence generator, this task is for to create a sequence generator for EIB. In core connector, you just enable the service and you will be able to configure the sequence generator. There are two different ways for EIB and core connectors. Understood. Any other question from anyone? That's good. We have completed. Core connector integrations. In core connector integrations, you can practice core connector, other core connector templates. I have already given you some of the templates which you can practice. Now, the next is today, we will learn about the DS data initialization service. Yesterday we discussed about the core connector worker. Today also we are going to discuss the core connector worker only, but we will discuss that DS service. And you will see some differences. DS means Data Initialization Service. What happens basically in core connector worker when you do not enable data initialization service? When you do not enable data initialization service, the transactions are happening on a web service using web service. Every data is Workday is getting every data using web services. The mechanism of extracting data is a web service. In DS, basically the data extraction will not happen via web services. There is one underlying technology in Workday and we call that as job framework processing. The proper C. Without data initialization service, the processing is happening as a web service oriented. But if you enable data initialization service, the processing will not happen as a web service. It will happen as a job framework processing. In job framework processing, basically Workday used to extract data from the report fields. Instead of web service, Workday will extract data from the report fields. In this case, this is actually this. This actually generates better performance. Better performance. Than on D. Basically, when I'm talking about DIs and when I'm talking about non-DIs, what does that mean? Let me show you here in Workday, you will understand. Today again I'm creating another core connector. Create to create core connector integration. The task is create integration system. Click on create integration system. Here you just mentioned, let's say Ganesh batch to C, CCWDS outbound. Here's the template I need to change. Choose as core connector worker. A core connector worker, I'm choosing click. Now the integration has been created. Here as usual, you know the safe. When you click on, then you need to configure integration. Before you click on, you need to select integration services. Then you need to configure integration attributes. Then you need to configure integration field attributes. Then you need to configure field overrides. All those steps we were following here, what we will do is here, we will simply select one web service. When we will talk about the DS, we will just select one web service. And that web service is this one. See here, core connector worker data initialization service. We are not going to select any of these services. We will simply select data initialization service. I have selected data initialization service. Now I'm clicking on. When I clicked on it, gave me that either is for the required attribute. We know that you can click on either. You will be able to see the integration enabled for the end of the month is required for launch. Now how to configure that? You can simply just go to integration system and configure integration attributes. Here configure integration attributes. There you need to check what are the required for launch parameters. There is one field I can see that is worse than required for launch. Here, I'll just give the version, lattice version, whatever we have in Workday. This is the lattice version. Click. Click. Now this integration has been created. The attributes. you can configure the attributes, basically phone number. If you want work phone number, if you want legal preferred name or legal name or preferred name, if you want address type as work or home address, if you want phone number as work or home, that is something you can configure in integration attributes. Earlier, what we were doing is we were selecting some of the data section services, and then we were selecting the field attributes. Earlier, we were following that way in this one. We are not going to follow in that way. Now here I am directly going to configure field attributes. I have just enabled data initialization service, configure the required for launch attributes, mandatory attributes, and then I'm just going in the integration field attributes. When I go to integration field attributes, you will see differences. See here, earlier this was not coming like this. Earlier, whatever sections you were selecting, you were getting those sections. And from those sections, you were extracting the data, you were selecting the data. But when you enable integration as a data initialization service, then you will be having something like this folder structure. This folder structure is, this is the main folder. In this main folder, there are several sections. Now here you have to select what are the data sections you want. Earlier you were selecting this personal data section, status data section in the services part. Here you are selecting everything in the DS part. Again, like earlier, we were selecting data section. Here I am selecting personal data section. Then here I am selecting a status data section. Then here I am selecting position data section and compensation data section, like we did before. These sections I have selected. Now, when you select the personal data section, what you need to do is here also, you need to go to the personal data section. When you selected this checkbox, this means whatever details are available in personal data section you are allowed to use. As of now, you have not configured the fields. As of now, you have only enabled the data section. You have not enabled the fields. To enable the fields, you have to enable the data section first. And in this data section, you need to select the data. Now I am going to the personal data section. Here in personal data section, again there are folder structures. I have enabled personal data section. Now I am good to select data from the personal data section. Personal data section, as in here you can see legal name, preferred name, address data. All these are selected by default. All these are selected by default. Now you are free to use the data from here. Basically, let's say I'm selecting gender date, birth date, address data, then phone data and email data. Now I am selecting this. Now I have enabled legal name, preferred name, name data, gender and birth date, and there are some other fields. Whatever sections you have selected, you need to see if those sections are available here or not. If those sections are available, you need to select data from here also. As of now, you have not enabled the legal name also. You have just enabled the legal name, but in legal name first name, last name, that is something you have not selected. To select that, you need to go to legal name again in the folder, and there you need to select first name, last name, whatever title you want to extract. Now in preferred name, if you want to select fields, you can again select first name, last name, or let's say any other thing. And then in name data, this is an additional name data. Here also, if you want to select first name, last name, title, you can select. Then, apart from this, you have selected address, data and phone data. In address data, you just click on address data. Then in address data, you select address, data type, address line data, municipality, sub-municipality region, country, postal code, country. All these things have selected. Then I have selected the phone data in the personal data sections in phone data. I want phone type. See one thing here. You remember that is the main clause when you will be selecting fields. Let's say I am selecting this data from this phone data. But if I do not enable phone data from the parent folder, for this phone data, the parent folder is worker personal data section. Let's say if you do not enable phone data in personal data section, you won't be able to get those fields in the file. Similarly, you are selecting data from personal data section but in the parent folder. If you do not enable personal data section, you will not get those data in the file. You need to select data based on hierarchy. First of all, you need to select data section from this parent folder. Then in the child folder, you need to select whatever data you want in the file, and then in the subsequent child node. Your child folder, you need to select the fields relevant which you want in the output file. That's what I'm doing. Let's say here is primary phone number phone. This is enough. Then email type email address is primary. I have selected. Now we have status data section. This personal data section is completed. Now we have one question. What is this maximum length? Maximum length, I explained earlier. Basically the thing is, let's say you have one name. Let's say you have one name. You have name, let's say Shalini. And then can you suggest any long name? Anything. Let's say Shalini Nayak, then something else. Blah 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 blah, something else. Now in the maximum length you mentioned for the name attribute 15 characters. What it will do is say this Shalini comes within 15 characters. It will not generate any warnings. But this name comes beyond 15 characters. Right. For these name, integration will generate warnings. It will give you like for this worker name, length is exceeding maximum characters. That valid for that validation, that maximum characters are there. It works for both, right? For the like for text and for the number of value both. Wherever it is enabled, it will work for that. Now in worker status data section, I'm just enabling employee status. Active hire date, nothing much. Then I have enabled position data section. In position data section, I need position ID, then effective date. If I need job classification data, then I need to enable job classification data here. For example, this is the enablement. Here you need to enable job classification. Then you go to job classification and then you select what job classification you want. This is how you're going to configure. Then I have configured compensation data. Same compensation data. I just need effective date at total base pay. This is also later. This many fields I have selected. Now click on. Basically here you understand the difference. The difference is in normal CCW and core connector work at DS. In CC, CView is wave service oriented data extraction. Whereas DSS is job framework oriented, where data is extracted from report fields. This is one. The second difference is in CCDU enable data section in integration services, then select fields, whereas in DS enable data initialization service and then select fields from DS folder structure. This is second difference. Second difference is done. Now third difference. Earlier, when you were creating, you were defining eligibility in field override service. Here let me open the integration system. Here also you have field override service. But you will see one more option in DS, configure integration population eligibility. Earlier in normal CC debut this configure integration. Population eligibility was not there. This is a new feature when you enable DS data initialization service. In field override, you will see to define population eligibility, but when you will enable DS, then that eligibility doesn't work. The eligibility which you will configure here in integration population eligibility, that is going to work here in field override service, here in field override service. Here you can see right. Define eligibility. This eligibility will not work. Basically, the eligibility which you will configure in population eligibility, that is going to work. I'm not configuring this. The difference is population eligibility. In normal CC view, configure population eligibility in field override service. Whereas in DS eligibility will be configured in configure integration population eligibility. This is the third difference. Here I am configuring now the integration population eligibility. I am not giving any specific at this point of time. I am just giving is true, which is in general eligibility. This is configured. Then the next difference is earlier for calculated fields. You were creating a new customs or integration services, and there you were creating field override service. The next difference is in normal CCW. See, wherever I'm mentioning CCW, you just understand non-DS CCU, normal CCU. And wherever I'm just mentioning DS, that means you know this is also CCW only. But this is DIS enabled. When you're writing notes, you just understand this thing. You mentioned here non-DIS CCDView and DIS CCView. That will be more clear. In normal CCDView, to configure calculated fields, you were required to use calculated or external phase custom integration service. Sorry, field override service. A field override service is created in custom integration service. Whereas in DIS, you can configure calculated fields directly in field override service. Let's see. Here, just go to configure integration field override. Now here define eligibility. You just ignore that. Go for CTW for DS. Here you can see worker additional information. In here worker additional information, you can simply click on plus. Come on. Here in CCBU DS enable, you can simply give the name. Yesterday I added security key, right? Here I am again adding the key security key. And in security key, here I can simply use the calculated field which has been created on worker business object. You are defining the label as well as calculated field at the same time here. No complication. When I logged in, tenant was working good. Now again it come on. This field I use. Yesterday I am using the same field. Whatever it takes, fill you're using air. And if I do the same in data type, it will be automatically populated. If it is not populating, then you need to populate. I'm selecting text. Then let's just use one more field. Hire date format, something by used. Let me mention manipulated hire date. And here I am using CF hire date format. If I need to use this tenant, for training, I think you guys will be the last batch which I'm training. See a format date. Let's use this one. Here you can mention the description as well. Like this field is for what? Just for see everywhere. Wherever you see the description, you should be updating those description. Description is something. Let's say you created one integration. There is something complex logic. You can see that the other people joining when you leave the company. Other people joining or other people started work that they will not be able to understand. To make their things easy, ideally you should know. Now again I need to configure. Not sure why this happens. I have never seen this in any tenant. See configuring, this is a very challenging task. And when you configure it, just wipe out your things. Security key, again I'm just configuring here. Then I'm configuring it. See automatically this populated, right? Earlier I think it was slow processing. It was not populating. Now I'm just mentioning manipulated hire date and she has hire date format. Let's say a C hire for my date. This one, automatically this will be populated. I'm not adding anything. If you need to add a calculate frame field from another section, for example, this one position data section, in position additional information you will be able to see. If you have any calculated field which is on position you want to extract in this air, you can easily extract using plus, the same way which I have configured for work workers. I'm not configuring anything at this point of time. I'm clicking. Otherwise that will also wipe out. Now your integration is ready. Basically you have configured everything. You have configured fields. You have configured the field overrides. You have configured almost everything. I'm running this integration now. Integration launch. Click. Then here I'm giving the full file again. I'm just using the same profile, Jacqueline. And Logan McNeil, Jacqueline Jacks. And let's Jack log. And then I'm just giving one more Logan McNeil. Now I'm selecting full file. I'm clicking on. Why this system is slow? Actually, the thing is, if you open the process monitor, there are many things running behind the scenes. That is why this tenant is slow, and many people have just created reports. They have scheduled the report. They have created the integration. They have created schedule for the integration. Every time in the system, many things are running. That is why this tenant is becoming slow, and every day many people are creating many objects here. Someone is creating custom reports. Someone is getting calculated fields. Someone is getting integrations. Someone is trying to get data from web services. Many things are happening. That is the region They said then it is low. I'm just opening output XML, which one is latest. And this one. Now here you see the data. That data is something similar. Let's say workers. There are 4 workers I have given. Let's see if there are 4 workers. See, there are 4 workers. There are 4 workers. Now let's explore data for each and every worker. This is a summary section. Eligibility, then personal data section. In personal data section, in named data section, I have selected first name, last name, then PI selected the address data in address data. I selected the address type municipality, region, postal code. Then in phone data, I selected phone data is primary phone number. The structure is something different from the structure which we were getting in normal POR connectors. Here the XML structure, the root node, the parenting, the child node, the structure is different. However, we are getting the same data. Here, the same additional information is there where I have configured 2 fields, security key and manipulated hire date. Those are something I can see here. Then in compensation, I have selected effective date, total annual base pay. That is something I can see here in position. I have selected position ID and effective date in status. I have selected employee, employee status, active status, hire date, all those things I can see. This is how it will be printed. Guys, which one you think is easier? Normal CGV, this enables CCDU. This one is easier for me. Why this one is easier? Because everything is there. We no need to go like create that field, override, going out and then create and then add into that. See, basically there are 2 major benefits. The one thing is when you see configuration point of view, the steps are, the steps are less than the normal CCBU. That is one thing. The second thing is from performance point of view, this DS enabled CCW is better than the normal CCW. Faster also. This is faster actually. This is how we configure DS. I have already given the differences mainly in interview. They are going to ask the differences. They are going to ask like what is difference in DS enabled. The main thing, the first thing they will be expecting is this is not a web service oriented. This is a job framework processing in DS. The processing is happening based on job framework. And in that job framework, basically the data is extracted from the report fields. Then they will ask the differences. I have given you 4 differences, the 4 major differences. You can add one more different. The extreme actual will also be different in normal CCW and in DS enabled CCU. And rest of the things are same. Rest, apart from the major, the differences, I have explained the rest of the things. For example, configuring sequence generator, configuring integration business process for document delivery and retrieval. All those will be same. This is the difference. Any question in DS? Not specific to the DS. There is one when we generate the report. There is one option like ESP or something, ESP integration. What is mean by ESP? Like the what is the form? Sorry, where? Can you go to that final report? Here is the request, right? Let the child process one integration ESP innovation. See invocation. This is just an invocation. I mean here that your integration has been initialized. and the actual integration is getting processed there. But there is nothing specific for ESP, right? No, it's nothing specific. I mean, nobody will ask you this thing. You just understand like this is as a you can understand. Even I don't know the full form of ESP, to be honest. Now you have asked, I need to go and check what this means. Because here also its written process type is ESP. That's why I like this. Sorry, where? Process type is ESP. Same in the same line like third row. Oh, this one. This is something I'll check and then I'll let you know. But as of now, I have never explored this thing. I'm learning. I'm working in a Workday from a very long time, but still I don't know what is this. But I'll say I'll just it's not in use. Then it's no, I mean I'll just take in a Workday community. What this means, and then maybe in the next slide I'll just check in the community. In the next class I'll explain. But these are the things. These things are something see in business process. I explained right. A step-by-step execution. This is, you can understand as a business process only where step-by-step execution is happening. The first step is initialization. Initialization is happening. Then integration invocation is happening, and then integration event is getting triggered. This is how this means. But this is actually not that kind of relevant thing, to be honest. But still, it's good question you have asked. I'll try to explore and then I'll let you know. Any other question? You guys are good with DIs, right? Yes, connection. Now basically the next is CCU is complete. CCIs is completed. Now change direction. In change direction, change direction. Now you guys know, but there is one concept in change direction and which screen you can see right now. The background process, the Workday one. See, tomorrow we will start working on the transformation. We will talk about XLT and we will start creating XLTs as well. But before XSLT, just one more thing I just wanted to explain you guys, and then I'll give you one activity today. Basically the change and detection. In change detection, there are two kinds of change detection. Two kinds of change detection means the one is two kinds of change detection. In change detection, basically two kinds of processing. Processing and change detection is of two types. The processing method, we call that as a stack processing. Stack processing. Now, whoever has worked in database, definitely you might have worked this stack. Top of the stack, something like that. In stack processing, basically in change detection, there are two kinds of stack processing. The one is top of the stack. And the second is effective stack. Top of the, what does that top of the stack means and what is effective stack means? Let's say you are running a change detection integration. There are two time frames, time 1, let's say, and there is another time frame, time 2. In between time 1, time 2 and time 1, Let's say there is one worker X. This worker is Mr. Now for this, X transactions are happening. The transactions are happening in such a way like transactions. The first transaction is Mr. X updated email address as abc@xdt.com. Then in this time frame only Mr. X updated same email address, updated email address as of 23@abc.com. And then in the same time frame, Mr. X is very confused about his email address. What exactly he needs to update? He updated third time. Third time he's updating the same thing. In this time frame, time 2 and time 1, Mr. X is updating email address for the third time. And this time he thought, like he will give Mr. X's email address. Now he is satisfied. Whatever transaction he has to do, he has done. In this time 2 and time 1, in this time frame, basically Mr. X updated same field 3 times. It's not about the same field. X may have updated another details as well. For example, X might have updated phone number along with email address. X has updated phone number also, or Miss X has updated name as well. He is not happy with his name also. He has updated some weird name as well. What I mean to say is in this 2 time frame, Mr. X is updating a lot of things. X is doing a lot of transaction and his profile. Here I am just considering 3 examples, 3 transaction Mr. X has performed in his profile. TT true. Basically, when you will run the change detection integration between time 1 and time 2 in change detection in top of the stack, what happens? You will get whatever data is updated. Whatever data is latest updated by Miss X, when integration is running, that data will be picked up. In top of the stack, if MIF X has updated 3 times or done multiple transactions, whatever data is latest in the system during integration run, that will be updated. Here if email address will be faced for Mr. It will come as Mr. X@abc.com. Now in effective stack, what happens in effective stack? Whatever transactions, whatever number of times transaction, Mr. X is doing in his profile, everything will become in an effective sequence. Here the data will come as effective sequence, one where Mr. X this email will come. And then effective sequence 2 will also come. And there X123 email address will come, and then effective sequence 3 will also come with the actual Mr. X email ref. This is what happens in a stack processing. There are 2 kinds of processing. One is the top of the stack processing and another is effective stack processing. The integration, the core connector, worker integration, where you were working on, we were creating. That core connector worker works on top of the stack processing. Works on top of the stack processing. No matter how many times you have updated the data, the core connector worker will simply see which data is latest. It will pick the latest data and it will generate in the output file. Now there is another mechanism, effective stack. Now, if core connector worker is not able to generate data, this effective sequence data, then how exactly we will get this effective sequence data in output file? If any vendor is asking for all the transactions which Mr. X has done, then how exactly we will generate? For that one, we have another template. I'm just creating integration system. Come on, man. I'm just going to create integration system. Hey, I'm just giving the name. Whatever, I would like to see a Ganesh Vichy batch to Vichy. And here we will dive worker effect. Change interface worker effect. I think I have given some. Worker effective change interface. This worker effective change interface will generate data in effective sequence. This template, I am leaving for you guys. You explore, you create one integration system. You know how to create. You know how to enable services. You know how to enable data sections. Here it is by default a TS enabled. By default TS enabled. If you click on, then this is the normal one. Your tenant is not enabled. Basically, if you will create this Vichy integration, you will not be able to run this Vichy integration in this tenant. Basically, there are two templates. One is Vichy and other is Pitchy. Someone will call you no Vicky and Picky. Whatever you want to call, you call. But the actual full form is a worker effective change interface. And then Pitchy means payroll, effective change interface. These two templates will generate data based on effective stack processing. No matter how many number of transaction has happened on worker profile, it will pull all the transactions in sequence wise. I mean, there is no point of giving this activity to you guys because this tenant is not a grid enabled. Even though if you create this integration, you will not be able to run. To run effective stack processing templates, your tenant needs to be grid enabled. This is just a term. I don't know what that means is. That is also something I need to explore, but you just may. You just remember, if your tenant is not a grid enabled, then you will not be able to work on Vichy and Pitchy. Your tenant has to be grid enabled. The normal core connector thing, I have already explained you. This is something advanced topic. In basics, we generally don't explain these things, but I am explaining because nowadays, world is running on these templates. But that is why I wanted to give you this information. No worries, guys. Whenever you join there, you can. You can create and learn this worker effective chain interface and payroll effective chain interface. Actually, these are separate training. This Pitchy is a complete 3-week separate training. Just this template is having 3 weeks training. For Vichy, that's a normal. That is something like core connector worker, only a little bit of more functionality is there. Witchy is fine, but for Pitchy we have a separate training. But whenever you get chance, I would recommend you just try to create this Pitchy and Pitchy integrations. I will try to get some differences between worker core, CTV and Witchy. One difference is simple, like in CCW you will get top of the stack data, whereas in CCBU you will get top of the stack data, whereas in Witchy you will get effective sequence data. Whatever transaction has been entered between time 1 and time 2, you will get everything. And to run Witchy integration and Pitchy integration, your tenant has to be grid enabled. Workday actually takes separate cost to enable grid in your tenant. It is not free. Grid enablement is not free. They used to charge from the companies to enable grid. And as I mentioned, they used to take charge. Definitely that these people have not paid that much, I believe. I mean, this is something normally nobody pays. This is something you can learn whenever you get chance. Any questions, Far? Ganesh, I have like yesterday created that CCDU temp like integration and all, but when I run that, like it's not showing me that that the output file is not .xml. It's just a file. But how do I run that? Like how do I see that file as an XML? What are you saying? Output file is not XML. It's like its .xml is not showing. It's that it's just a file. .xml is not showing and it is just a file. And you want to open that file. That is created in CCDU. Did you configure anything in the file name? Can you give me the integration name? It's a Shalini underscore. Let this close first. One sec. And this is Shalini underscore. Not a lot of them. The first one, top one. Did you? You have not configured any file name anywhere, right? I'm just opening your integration event. I think because of slow, like I wish, like you have configured sequence generator and in second generator you did not give .xml. I think, let me see, you can suppress audit reports. In attributes, there is one option, suppress audit reports. You select that, suppress audit report. You won't be able to see this much audit reports. Then let me just check your file. You have configured sequence generator in which you have not given the extension. This is XML file. This is XML file, but you won't be able to open that XML file because there is no extension. Now, if I want to open, you can do one thing. You can simply just drag and drop on the web browser. Here you will be able to see the data, but as XML is not there, the data will look like this. No worker count is 0. No worker was picked up. Also, you can open, see always any file you can open in Notepad. that option is? I don't know. It's not enabled for. See here in Notepad also. You will say Notepad, you will get something in this way to formatting. I think they have not. They have not enabled. They have not installed XML plugin. Basically, when you will install XML plugin in Notepad++, when you will press Ctrl-Alt-B, Ctrl-Shift-Alt-B, then automatically it will be arranged in an indentation order. Indentation order means it will show you the way it is showing in here, in the way it is showing here, right? Like this is one, that then there is one indent, and after that indent the summary is there. Then again, you know the sequence in proper format. In this Notepad++, that plugin is not installed. That is why. Go to View tab, Ganesh. Go to View tab. Click on View Current File in option right. Chrome. Chrome. Because the extension is not there, right? It's not gone. Now if I keep even like now, I cannot see that not Notepad option Ganesh to open, because last time now I have just mentioned .xl directly after downloading. And if I open now, it is normal. When you configure Sequence Generator, I would recommend you use extension as well. That is, when you configure Sequence Generator, then file name will be generated based on your Sequence Generator. If you're not having extension, that will not be appended. And extension is major thing when you talk about any file structure, right? Even like a B also, right? We need to provide that .xml extension always. See, you will be able to see data in the Notepad+. But when you will send this file to the system, they won't be able to consume. You know they will, just they will kill you. It's just a text file. They will say, what is this? I am not able to process. Basically, extension should be there. I think Notepad, like I think last week I talked with you, right? The Notepad is not Notepad++ is not enabled for like it's not showing for me. I'll see how it's today. No worry. Even I have to ask them to install plugins and all. I mean next day, tomorrow I'm going to start. Let me see what else. DS, I have explained. CCDev is finished. The Vichy is something I have given you the idea, but I'll try to get some differences between CCW and Vichy, because that will be important from interview point of view. If you're not able to create, at least you should be having that knowledge. I'll try to get that. And then also, I need to talk regarding documentation as well. I forgot today as well, but tomorrow definitely I'll do that. If I do not do, then I'll do during call only. I'll talk to them. Then I'll share the documents first. Let me see if they have enabled. No, they have not enabled. Ganesh Vichy template, right? That's a template in CCGAV which we can use in. That is different. That is different template. CCW is one template, Vichy is another template. Please do like, share and subscribe to our channel.